everyone and welcome to Mad T-shirt, the quick reference guide to elements of music. In today's session we're going to be looking at tempo and time signature and how to recognise these in a piece of music. First of all, we have pulse, and pulse is the beat in music. And by finding the pulse, by finding out that pulse, this will help us to work out many things. Pulse is very similar to a heartbeat. So a heartbeat will go either at an average pace. If we do some exercise, it'll go quicker. When we go to sleep, it goes slower. And pulse, in a heartbeat sense, is very similar to pulse in a music sense. That pulse will be going either medium, quick, or slow. And it's basically the speed of music, and that's what tempo is. It's the speed of that beat and it's the speed of the pulse in the musical sense. And it tells us how quick it's going. Now in classical music we have a conductor who usually stands in front of the orchestra, and using his baton he'll be waving his arms around, and basically he is beating out the pulse. So he is showing everyone the tempo of the music. Now for our listening exam, we're not going to have a conductor stood in front of us. We're going to have to listen to that pulse and work out the tempo, work out the speed of that pulse. And we will need to learn our Italian. And what we'll do is we will work out the pulse. We'll ask ourselves the question, how quick is it going? And then we'll be able to work out the Italian. But there is an easy way of doing this. So, we have a lot of Italian to learn, but all we need to really remember is music is either fast, medium or slow in the very basic sense. So if we remember our 3 A's, we will know that allegro means quick. So the pulse is going at a consistent fast pace. And as you can see here, the beats per minute, so this means how many beats we hear in a minute. So it's very similar to hearts as well. The beats per minute is 120 to 168. Now there's a massive difference in terms of the speed there. So if we remember a piece of music is fast and it is allegro, or the pulse is going at a faster pace, we're in allegro town. If we feel that the music is just going at a medium pace, then that is andante. And if we feel that the music is going relatively slow, then it's going to be adagio. Of course, there are extremes of the tempo. So we have presto and prestissimo, which is fast and very, very fast. And we also have largo and grave, which does mean very slow and almost at a dead slow, like in the grave, if you think of it like that. It's sort of dead slow. But if we remember our 3 A's, we will be able to work out the tempo of that pulse. There are, however, sometimes in music, sometimes the tempo or the pulse may change. It may get quicker, it may get slower. So we have accelerando, which means gradually getting quicker. So the music is gradually getting quicker in the pulse. And the easiest way to think about this is the acceleration pedal in a car. If you press that acceleration pedal down, you're gradually going to go quicker and quicker and quicker. So accelerando means the music or the pulse, the tempo is gradually getting quicker. We have rallentando. This means that the music is gradually getting slower. So again, that pulse that we're listening to is gradually getting slower. One of the more trickier tempo changes to hear is rubato. Rubato literally means in Italian robbed. And it's where, in terms of tempo, or tempo changes, it means we're robbing the time. So what will tend to happen is it'll sometimes get quicker and sometimes get slower. And this is something that is very expressive. So it's very expressive playing. Accelerando means it's gradually getting quicker. So maybe we're going andante to allegro. It'll gradually get quicker until we're at the right tempo. And then after that, it will just stay at the same speed. Maybe we have rallentando. So maybe we're going from allegro all the way down to adagio. So very slow. We might use rallentando and the music will gradually get slower and then we're at adagio. However, rubato literally means it sometimes speeds up and sometimes slows down. So when you find the pulse in the music and you're tapping it out, then it might be worth thinking, is that pulse gradually getting quicker and slower? Is it constantly changing? If it is, it's possibly going to be rubato. So in terms of our little checklist, and thinking about what we need to do if we're in our listening exam and we're describing the tempo and the time signature, we need to consider how quick that pulse is moving. And once we find the pulse, and the best thing to do, find the pulse and tap it, then that will help you to work out the tempo of the music. Another question we can ask ourselves is the pulse changing in any way? So once you've found that pulse, is it gradually getting slower? In which case, rallentando. Is it gradually getting faster? Which means accelerando. Or is it occasionally speeding up and slowing down? So it's all to do with finding the pulse, tapping it out, and working out the tempo and the time signature. Now, in terms of time signatures, this links with pulse. So what happens is we have the pulse in music, and there are more stronger pulses and weaker pulses. So if we go back to our heartbeat again, we have our pulse. That's consistent. That's never going to change. So if we're allegro, that pulse is going to be a constant. The conductor, if you remember me saying, the conductor who is at the front of the orchestra shows everyone the time, the tempo, but they also show them the time signature by showing them the stronger beats and the weaker beats. So in music we have 2/4 time signature. This means it's got 2 crotchet beats in a bar. It only has 1 strong pulse, which is beat 1. Beat 2 is weaker, so it should sound a bit like this. So beat 1 is stronger. So when you're counting that, when you found that pulse, you then count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We have 3/4. Again, this means 3 crotchet beats in a bar. It only has 1 strong pulse, which is on what? Beat 1. Beat 2 and 3 are weaker. Here's an example. We also have 4/4. This means we have 4 crotchet beats in a bar. The strongest beats are on beat 1, which is the strongest beat, and beat 3 is also strong. Beats 2 and 4 are weak. Now this can often be confused with 2/4, so don't worry if in your exam you put 4/4, because quite often they will accept it even though it is 2/4, because it is tricky to differentiate. So here is 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, we find the pulse, you find that consistent beat, and then you're able to work out the time signature. A different time signature altogether is the 6/8 time signature, which looks like this. 6/8 means we have 6 quavers in a bar. There's our quavers. The difference with these quavers is they're grouped into 2s, into 3s. So 2 groups of 3. So we can see here 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now what we would be listening for is we're listening for that Saturday rhythm. And that Saturday rhythm, if you're not too sure it is, go to the rhythm video that I created. That Saturday rhythm is going to be consistently used throughout 6/8. Now, if we group our quavers into 2 groups, that would imply we have 2 strong beats, or we have two more noticeable beats. So a lot of people get confused with 2/4, but as I said, listen for that Saturday rhythm. So you may think it's 2/4 at the moment. 1, 2, 1, 2. Saturday, 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 Saturday. Now that is an example of 6/8 time signature, and we could hear that Saturday rhythm used throughout. Again, our little checklist, we need to consider the pulse. We need to consider any changes to the pulse, and then we need to consider the strong and weaker beats and able to work out the time signature. And of course, by doing that, that's going to help us to work everything out. So now you know, let's give it a go. So you're going to hear a piece of music, and I want you to describe the time signature and the tempo. As always, listen to the music, and if you need to listen to it again, rewind. If you know the answer, just pause it to check your answer, and then the answers will appear. So pause the video to write down your answer, or rewind it to listen to it again. Pause. So the answer was 3/4 time signature. The tempo was andante, but it also had rubato. So it's sometimes sped up, sometimes slowed down. So here it is again. Find the pulse, and you'll feel that sometimes the pulse is going quicker and sometimes it's going slower. Hopefully you heard me clicking away, finding the pulse for you to show you that it was rubato, and hopefully you got the correct answers. And if you got it wrong, hopefully you realised where it is now and how you've corrected it. Thank you for joining me on this quick reference guide to tempo and time signatures. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's also helped you out. See you soon.